can just start. Mr. Dominion, you're welcome. Marachi, you're welcome. Mr. Aranga, you're welcome. So we're having 3 speakers today. We have Mr. Emmanuel, who is a HR professional. Miss Edna, is it Miss Edna or Mrs. Edna? Please let me know which one to call you. Then we have Mr. Sam, who is an in-house recruiter in StreetAsk. You guys are all welcome. Are we ready to fire down? Are we ready? It's not Edna, just confirm if yeah, thank you. So my first question is going to go to Mr. Sam, because when I saw the poster, I was very curious. It was amazing because it said, good job, good degree, good skills, but still broke. In one sentence, why was that? Why was that used in particular? Mr. Sam, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I'm here. Am I audible? And can you see my video?
Yes, I can see your video.
Oh, okay, all right. Forgive my eye bags. I've not really been sleeping well of late. I'm chasing the money. Okay, so yes, what that topic? I would say, to be real, we are in an economy at the moment that I would say we wake up every day going to work, and we try as much as possible to elevate our status in terms of our standard of living, right? But we've come to kind of realize that as much as we're doing, working, some of us have been working for a decade, some of us 5 years, some of us maybe less than 2, 3 years. We realize that we seem to be earning more, but it's not showing, right? And internally, we just have that conversation that, wait, are we the only one, experiencing this? Definitely other people must be also experiencing, this same phenomenon. So it's okay. Let's not just skew our data. Let's push it out there and, let people tell us exactly what is going on the street, right? Let's know if this is just sector specific or, everybody across, Nigeria is currently experiencing this. And the data that we got from our survey just speaks volume, right? Yeah. So that was the reason for that, this topic and this survey. Yeah. I hope I answered your question, though.
Yes, you did. That was amazing.
Thank you.
So this one is for you. You ask people to their faces, and Nigeria has actually paid well.
All right, thank you. So the short answer for me is no. And I feel like Nigerians already know this. When I go to the streets and I ask people about their salary, nobody's actually pretending anymore. They will look at you, they'll almost laugh, and then they'll break it down for you. They will tell you how much their salary is. They can tell you their salary is like 150, their rent is like 80,000. And transportation is so expensive these days. Imagine 30,000 naira, and then talking about food. And at the end of the day, you ask the question, where is the money? And a lot of times they are not complaining again this day. They will just show you the maths. And right now, the maths is just no longer adding up in Nigeria. And the research confirms exactly this. They said that the survey actually said 75% of workers are either unhappy with their pay or have simply accepted that it is just how it is. And they didn't just accept it because they know that there's nothing they can do about it. And at the end of the day, they just, they accept it, they go with it. And then there is this 3.4% of Nigerian workers that actually genuinely feel like they are being valued and they are being paid well at work. So that means that in a work where we have about 29 people, only one person actually feel like they are being paid. The other 28 are just showing up. They don't feel visible at work and they feel like they are not being paid. And that is actually very painful, you know. So yeah, Nigerian workers are not being paid well.
Thank you very much for that. I really don't have much to say about this. We're just going to direct this question back to Mr. Emmanuel. Why? Why are Nigerians not paid well? Why are you guys underpaying us? So
Yeah. As it's this is like you shooting me that why are we not paying you well? Let me start by letting everyone on the call know that HR professionals are also employees. You know, a lot of a lot of time we tend to forget this. Even we as the HR professionals, we also forget that we are employees. You see us, we go about running up and down to get salary increase for um, this staff, that staff. Everybody comes to my office every day. Hey, child, this my take home is not taking me home and all of that. And you see me going up and down trying to MD, let's increase this person's salary. Before you know, I have increased everybody's salary and I've not increased my own. So that's why I just needed to chip that in that we are also employees. So back to the question that why are we not paid well? Why are we not paid well? So so that's question. The way I would like to respond to it is that I'm not going to generalize it that everybody are not being paid well. So there are different. So in an organization, there are different people. You'll see somebody, staff A will tell you that, oh, I'm being paid well. Um, the company is paying me well for what I'm doing. Blah blah blah. The next staff is going to tell you that, oh, you people are not paying me. People are not paying me anything. What you're paying me is not enough for me, and all of that, and all of that. The truth of the matter is, there's no amount of money you are going to pay someone that will be enough. So we always want more. We always want more. So this will now lead me to saying that why are we not being paid well? It's not because we are not being paid well. Business owners, we just design salary structure with HR based on based on the capacity of the business, and yeah, and sometimes based on the industry they're operating on. So that's where the benchmarking comes in. But then again, everything still lies in the hand of the employees, especially during your interview. We used to get to that last part that interests everyone. What do you want to earn? How much do you want us to pay you? Or what's your salary expectation? It depends on how it's being put. So that is where I always tell people that you need to put on your negotiation hats, because that is where you need to set it. If you miss it at that point, trust me, by the time you get into the company, okay, let's say, for example, you have negotiated XYZ amounts, and you just see some of we HR will just nod our head and say, okay, it's not even up to our budgets, and we'll just leave it that way. By the time you now resume duty, you know, talks in the company and all of that, you now hear that Lagbaja is earning more than you, and you are doing more than him, or you people are in the same level and all of that. You become disgruntled and all of that. You start eating yourself up that, oh, why did I not negotiate well, and all of that and all of that. So I'm going to respond to this question by saying that it's not as if business owners or HR professionals intentionally do not want to pay salaries well. It all falls back to our negotiation power. So if you're able to negotiate well, then we are good. And when your work starts showing, of course, you start working, you start seeing your work. In the next 6 months to 1 year, you already have justification to, okay, I want a raise. I will ask you why. It's not yet time for salary increase. It's not yet time for performance appraisal and all of that and all of that. But when you have your justification, you've proven yourself over time that you said you know that these people cannot afford to lose you. Then you can come up that, okay, I want a raise. So everything still boils down to negotiation power. Meanwhile, there's also a place for the business owners and the HR people to also do things very well to make sure that the company is playing at the industry standard, if not at par. But if it should not be below, it can be at the midpoint or even above. Yeah, that's my 1 cent.
Okay. I think that was great. I think I gotta drop off the call a bit, and we have a question in the comment section just to respond to what you mentioned just now. Dominion now asked the question. Dominion said, "My question is, there's a benchmark. What's the best measurement to define if we are paid well or not?" Right. I don't know. There are two questions. So maybe Emmanuel should still take that. The second one will go to, Edna.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the question again. What's the best measurement to define if we are paid well or not? So I will still come back to say that there's no amount of salary you want to pay all of us on this call that is enough for us. So yes, there's a benchmark, but a lot of time, employees don't get to see this survey. So because we in HR, we do salary benchmarking and all of that. So most of the time we use KPMG, Deloitte to run this survey. So they provide us with our reports, and it is now left to us to now, HR professionals and business owners, to now decide, okay, this is what the people in tech are paying. So do we want to be at the same level with them, or we want to go above them, or we want to calm down? So these are the behind the scene conversation that employees don't get to know. But if you are somebody like me, that I always want to know what is happening in my industry. So if you are somebody like that, you can get your own data. Just get enough data from people in that industry that you are operating. It shouldn't be one company, maybe like up to 10 companies. So you now use it to check your own company. So most of the time, you just realize that your company is even paying more than a lot of those companies. So at that time, you just keep quiet and manage. But if you now realize that your company is below, so you can come up. I always tell people, you can come up with data, and make your presentation, but don't just come up with data when you are not a performer. So I always state that you must be a performer, like you must be an A player. You've been doing work where you know that if you cough in that company, everybody will be looking for Baba Blue for you. You have to get to that point before you can now bring your data and say, okay, based on data from all of these companies in our industry, I see that I'm not being well paid. So you already have your data to do your measurements and all of that. So trust me, you may not get a yes immediately, but trust me, something would be done, because business owners will know that, oh, these people are aware of what is happening out there, and they don't want to lose this best hand, because the cost of replacement is usually higher than the current salary that the person is earning. So that's it. So if you're able to get all of these things together, you are good to go. You can know where you are.
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
so
much.
sorry,
Thank you
can I just say
Yeah,
something?
go ahead. Go ahead. The next session is actually for you, so just take the
Oh,
two together.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. All right then. So, I just want to say that I completely disagree with Emmanuel. You said that negotiation, as an employee, you have to be able to negotiate your salary well so that you'll be happy with your salary. I think that's a problem. I mean, if I'm coming from the structure parts, why should an employee be the one to negotiate a good salary when an organization already have a structure in place? Now, every organization is supposed to have a salary, a structure and a benchmark for every salary. Now there's a place for bonus or recognition for high-performing team. That is there. But then when it comes to salary, that is what we are talking about here, salary. I mean, someone in the same role with me, in the same job, the same role, the same company, everything the same, we are doing the same work, should not earn more than me. And if that person is earning more than me because that person is able to negotiate better than me, or probably that person has connections and is able to talk better and therefore earns better salary than me, there is a problem. The HR has a problem in that organization and the HR should do better. I know that most of the time, or in the olden days, HR are like, they hold like admin work. They do whatever the MDs ask them to do or the business owner asks them to do. But now it has changed. The role of HR has moved from that, from administration to being a strategic business partner. And if you're an HR and you don't know how to talk to your boss, how to ensure that you put all the structure in place, how to ensure fair payments of salary, fair treatment of your employees, and then you're telling me that I have to be able to negotiate well in order to get paid well. I mean, I will say that you don't know what you're doing. I'm sorry, but that's just it. As an HR, you need to put structure in place to ensure that everybody is paid well, not tell me that I should come and negotiate a salary. No. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to
Edna for president.
react.
Edna
I'm
for
going-
president.
yeah. Okay, let me react to Edna quickly. Yes, so I am still maintaining my points of saying that you need to negotiate better. Yeah, I understand the part of structure, salary structure. Of course, a lot of companies, even where I work currently, we have a salary band. So that band, we have it like um, A to D. So under this level, you have like A to D, and you have different figures on A, B, C, D, right? So we already, let's say for example, I already know that I want to hire somebody at officer level, and I want to pay this person XYZ amount, and this person has wowed us in the interview, and this person has done wonderful, and this person is now asking for more, right? And I have looked at my band. Let's say, for example, I want to pay this person 150,000 and under level one, and that 150,000 falls under like band A. And I have band B as 200, I have band C as 250, and I have band D as 300, all on level one. And this person I want to pay 150 is already asking for 250. And I have weighed all my options, and I have seen that, oh, this person is actually good. I don't want to let this person go. And what do I have to do next? I have to pay that person 250, still on level one, but on band C this time around. So you can see that this person has negotiated higher, and I can also accommodate that person at that particular amount. So that's the reason why I made that statement. That's when you negotiate well and the business is able to accommodate it. Even I've seen most cases where the person's what the person is asking for is more than it has even gone above the band, the whole levels. And still based on what you brought to the table, the business can still make a little shift. So we usually make case, provided you have justification, you have everything to prove it. I mean, you get what do they call it? You get approvers. So the only thing, in order not to cause disaster in the company, is just for you to just move the person a step higher to match that particular salary we are paying the person, so that peace is going to reign in the company.
And what about the other people on the same level? What if they come to you and tell you the same thing?
So the other people, that's the people that are already in the company. So we already have a structure that there is a salary increase every year, like at the beginning of the year. So everybody already have that in their mind. So everybody, waits for appraiser towards the end of the year. The following year, you see your results, you get your promotion, you get your salary increase and all of that. Everybody is fine. But then if there's a person that comes, of course, we cannot escape that. a person that comes and say, okay, this. Like I mentioned earlier, if you have your data, you must first of all be a high performing staff before you can come and say you want salary increase and all of that. So once you come, you have your data, you have everything. I mean, there's always a room, just like in finance, we always make provision for miscellaneous. So there's always a room for, all these kind of matters when they come. They rarely come, but once they come like that, there's a room for it where we can accommodate. And if we cannot accommodate at that time, then we'll, give you reasons why we cannot grant you your request at this time, and, make promises of when this can be achieved. So all these are the strategic HR management that you talked about. So the ability to be able to manage different kinds of requests like this when they come in. I hope I've been able to speak to this. You are muted.
Okay, I can hear you actually. I wouldn't want to drag this because I know Agatha has some more questions and we have just 1 hour. So I hear you.
Yeah, regarding to that. So you just said that you guys increase salary yearly, right? But the result is showing that most people just need to job hop, like move to another job before they can get like an increment in their salary. But that's not corresponding to what they are telling us right now. You see there's a
Well,
raise every year,
so
but most
I'm
people have to
speaking from company.
job before they can get a raise in their salary. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, so what I would say about this is that every organization have their culture, they have their style. So I've been in an organization where I worked for 3 years, and there's nothing like salary increase. There's no 1 naira, that is added to my salary. Not only me, like company wide now. So it all depends on the salaries or on the culture of the company, what is obtainable in the company. Just like Edna mentioned, that in the olden days, HR people just do yes, my yes, sir to the business owners and all of that. Um, in some companies today, some of these things still happen where the business owner will just tell you that, no, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. So that's when HR people begin to have friction with the business owners, right? So what I would say about that is just the business, is just the company structure, what is obtainable. I've seen cases where the MD of a company can just wake up from sleep one morning and he's happy, he's excited, and this, that. You just say, okay, let's do 10% raise for everybody. That thing that happened that day, that particular day, may not repeat itself again, say only God knows when. So it falls back to structure. When there is no structure in an organization, that is when things begin to go this way, that way. Like I mentioned, in my own organization, we do salary increase every January. So everybody already have it at the back of their mind that January, we are doing salary increase. So that's one structure that has been set. So it helps people to also plan, and all of that. So for those other companies that don't do same, it's just a structured thing. And if that can be corrected, between the HR person and the business owner, it can be better.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. Yeah, we're a little bit satisfied to know that some sectors still actually have that in place to make sure their employees are actually doing well. So thank you very much. Mr. Sam, yeah, this for you. 7.8% have money left. Like only 7.8% of people have money left after they've covered like their salary and their needs. Does that number surprise you?
No, not at all. Not at all. If you look at the trajectory of things, most especially in like emerging markets like Nigeria, where most of these countries are struggling with inflation, if you look at the report and compare with the data, The reason why this is happening is because you know, we're an economy struggling with, inflation. And imagine the inflation is at 33%. What do you want to do? So basically, people who were earning, let's say 500K as at, let's say 2018, and are earning 1 million right now, they seem to be earning more back in 2018 than they are earning right now because things are more expensive, right? Now, however, that doesn't give the excuse to organizations not to really make adjustments because, if we look at what the organizations are doing now, for example, I'm not here to call shades, but the organizations who are doing trillions of naira, right, in terms of profit, we see the adjustments or the behavior of companies, you met of employees. Take a look at the data about job hopping, right? People are moving from jobs to jobs because they realize that the only way you can do 3x, 2x of your salary, of even 4x of your current salary, is when you move from one job to another job, right? But you see organizations coming out declaring like large margins, right? Because we are basically seen to be in a profit or revenue-driven economy rather than productivity-driven economy. And that's why StreetOps is here to kind of make on companies understand that, you need to create an environment where you're driving revenue at the same time you're driving employee growth. Because if you look across the world, right, if you're mentioning Fortune 500 companies, how many companies from Africa can say they can compete with these global companies, right? It's because basically a lot of, brain drain is happening now, and a lot of their employees are actually living in droves. So there is knowledge gap, there is context, switching. I mean, people are losing context basically, right? So the organization can keep up with that competition, even though they are making money, but they can't actually keep up with that competition, right? So I think the reason why this is happening in a nutshell is because of inflation. At the same time, most of the organizations that are actually, are capable of paying people, the kind of money that they can actually use to fend for their, lifestyle, or like, sustain their lifestyle, they are not paying at that range. You look at banks, for example, the financial sector, it's a thing. More than 60% of their current employees are actually on contract. So if we look at those numbers, right, we can just oppose and say, this is what is, these are the primary drivers, these are the secondary drivers. But you can't be better than your environment. So inflation is a major reason why, this whole issue is happening, why most people don't have savings anymore, investments are dwindling, and all those things. So yeah, I hope I'm able to answer that question anyways.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sam. Miss Edna, what does inflation actually looks like in a real life scenario to clients, to employees? What does it look like in their day-to-day life?
All right, so I think this is the time to be practical. A lot of time when we hear inflation, sometimes it sounds like being in an economics class, or maybe something they say in CVN. But a lot of times, inflation is something we live it, is in our pockets, we live it every day. Now, let's say that someone got a 15% salary increase this year. And then their company, they send the HR, do the announcement, they do everything. For 2 days, everybody is happy. Then they went to the filling station to buy fuel. They will realize that fuel has also gone up by 200%, right? And that moment, even that 15% increase in salary, you might have spent it already in that filling station before you even get home. So that is what inflation looks like actually, because your salary will go up a little, but the things around you, your expenses will also go up bigger, way bigger than what your salary is. And so that gap, between what you get and what the things you want to buy, that is what is actually affecting people. Now, so let's talk about rent now. Rent has increased in Lagos. Landlords in Lagos and Abuja, they are not even smiling with everybody. School fees has also gone up. The same with provision. What you bought last year for 10,000 naira, it's like 20,000 naira or 25,000 naira now. And transportation, when you talk about transportation, you can't even go there because we all know what transportation is saying now in Lagos. So now what do people do? They start making painful adjustments. Someone who was driving to work is now taking commercial bus, not because they want to, but because fuel has made that decision for them. And someone even said that they quietly moved their children from one school to another. Then someone entirely stopped saving because at the end of the day, by the time they spend all their money on the expenses, there's nothing left to save. And then there was one respondent that said it's something in the survey. He said that this person said that they no longer check their accounts on salary day anymore because so they wait until like maybe the third day of the month or maybe the following week, because by that time they would have adjusted their expectations and their spending. So that is just what inflation is doing to everybody nowadays, and it's really affecting the professionals in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for that answer. I just can relate to what you are saying. It's actually that bad.
Thank you.
Mr. Samuel, from this survey, from the survey finding, what do you think employers should really do? And what changes do you want to see? You hear me? Did you get my question? From this answer she gave, what do you feel like employers should do that's going to reflect in their system?
Okay. To be honest, I think employers are trying, right? Because as we're talking about inflation also, as it's affecting employees, it's also affecting the business. Because the business, operational costs would go up, right? If they are buying diesel for 500 naira now, before they're now buying it for 2,000 naira. So all the operational expenses is also off the roof. So I think one thing the company can do is to streamline the operations, because one thing that produces stress, or let me say that really impacts performance, employee performance, is stress, right? So because of the fact that, inflation, and if you look at the data very well, you will realize something. The moment inflation goes up, that means customers are demanding for more, right? So the level of value goes up. Now, the level of work that needs to be to deliver the value to meet with the customer also goes up a bit. So that means employees are now more stressed right now. And when that happens, if I used to work 4 hours before and I have 2 hours for myself to relax, now I have to work 5 hours, or I have to work 6 hours, so I don't have time for myself. That means I used to wash before, now I have to give dry cleaner my clothes, but I don't have cash to do that. Right now, what businesses can do is look internally. How can we streamline our operation to still deliver that same value, but give our employees time to relax, right? If you had, let's say, on your list of goals for the month or for the week or for, let me say, for a quarter before, right, to hit a particular target, if it was 5 before, can you bring it down to 3 and allow the team to be laser focused on chasing those things so that they are not stretched out thin, so that they don't expend themselves so much that they will have to spend so much of their time doing those other things to deliver value to the customer. At the same time, they don't have time for themselves, right? They don't have work-life balance, as we all say it, right? And this would help generally. It's a hard thing to do, but believe me, I think it's possible. I really do think it's possible. One thing we've seen businesses do now is a lot of businesses think, oh, we have to use AI, we have to use this, we have to do, oh, our competitors are doing this. So they leave the major assignment, which is just providing value to the customer, right? Those AI, those things are just tools to provide value. They leave those things and they start chasing the only shiny things so that they can remain relevant. What that does is that it puts so much pressure on the employees that they don't have time for their family. So when anything comes along, or maybe an employee now sees a better offer, they leave. Right now, you are -1 or you're -5. What do you now have to do at that point? Basically, you can't deliver that value at the end of the day. So the best thing to do is streamline your operations, laser focus on what value can we deliver to still meet our targets without really impacting to a very large extent the well-being of our employees at the end of the day. So I think that would be like one of the best ways to go about it. I mean, from a product manager perspective and a business operations analyst, yes, I think that's one thing employees or businesses can do during this period to at least help, alleviate to a large extent the pressure of work on the employees and also like on their business. Yeah, I hope that's clear.
Section. We have some questions in the comment section. Let's see if we can
Okay.
answer.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me go to the chat box. Mr. Dominion, can you just answer your question directly to him? Hello, Mr. Dominion.
Oh, yes.
So
Okay,
maybe
thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I think the first question has been answered. There are extra 2 questions I have. The second one is, don't we think HRs are part of the problem, right? It does seem like they like to encourage cheap labor for management. I understand that there are some constraints like budget and all that, but somehow they don't do a proper defending for whoever they are bringing in. So so my concern is, but we could have good jobs, have good degrees, have good skills, and still broke. Why? Because the HRs are contributing to that. So that's my question.
Mr. Emmanuel, this question is for you.
What will I say? Well, I would say HR is not the problem of this. HR is really not the problem because HR is not the owner of the business. That's one. There's just little to what HR can do. Part of our duty is to advise. So a lot of times, there's a place of budgeting, salary budgeting, preparing budgets, and all of that. But you also need to understand that all of these budgets still needs to go through approval processes and all of that. A lot of time, your CEO can just come to you, okay, no, you cannot pay an officer level this amount. Is this amount we pay? HR will argue, make justification, do this, do that, and all of that. And the business owner will insist that this is what the business can afford. So, and at that point, you don't have a choice. I mean, you're also an employee as an HR person, and that is the job you have at that moment. So you just go ahead and make that post. If you find a candidate, lucky you. If you don't find a candidate, still lucky you. I'll pick something from what Samuel said. So this whole salary matter, the whole money thing, inflation thing, as it's telling on the employees, is also telling on the business owner as well. So for somebody like me, I see the numbers, I see what the business is making. I see how much comes in. I see how much we have as a net profit after all the whole all the expenses has been made and all of that. I see what is left. I see what is being allocated to me as HR, and all of that. So my understanding of all of this most time it makes me to even pity the business owner, but I know a lot of employees will not like to hear it. A lot of people don't want to hear it. Like, why are you pitying the business owner? Yeah, because I'm also putting myself in the shoes of the business owner that these people are even trying, right? So to respond to your question, HR is not the cause of why staff are being underpaid. HR are never the cause of that. So it's just what it is with that particular business. It's just what is being approved for that particular company. That is what you see the HR putting out. At that point, the HR does not even have a choice, right? So I hope that answers your question.
All right, that's fine. I have a question, right? How many percent of the company's earning do you think should be allocated to employers? Like, how many percent should be theirs in the business? Because you can't just be paying employers anything you want. How many percent do you think these people are earning? This is what I'm earning. This is what I should be allocating to my employees.
Okay, so how many percent? So I will still take you back to respond to your question. I will take you back to data, right? So the survey that we usually do, because so for me, a lot of places I've worked, I usually do my salary based on benchmarking, right? So if I've done all of that and at the beginning of the year, so the result of the data that I've gotten from my benchmarking is now going to determine how many percent is going to be allocated. So I cannot give you a particular figure as per percent, because what my MD is going to approve for me is going to be different from what other MDs we approve for other companies. And even after I have done my benchmarking and I have come back to say, okay, this is what people in the industry are paying and all of that, a lot of time the business owner can tell you that, okay, we cannot go above these people. These people are senior players in the industry. We cannot go above them. Let's just, remain where we are, or let's just step up a bit. So all of those discussion with the business owner is now going to lead to, okay, following our discussion, this XYZ percentage should be released so that we can use it to do salary increase and all of that. So that's why you see people at the end, whenever there's a salary increase, some companies can just do like 10% across board, some can do 15% across board, 20%. It all depend on what has been allocated. So it varies.
Because I see some companies doing very well, their business is doing very well, but their employees are also complaining that this thing is not reaching us. Okay, probably you're an accountant, you know how much this company is making, but you people are not seeing that kind of money. And this company can actually afford to pay you and still be comfortable. You get? So in that case, what would you say?
I would take you back again to structure. I'll take you back again to structure. So structure one, the business owners, that is also two. So another thing that I would also talk about is, if you now also find yourself in an industry that is not regulated, so it's also another problem. So why did I say this? So there are a lot of industry, like for example, the insurance, they are being regulated by the National Insurance Association and all of that. The bank is being regulated by CBN and a lot of that. So a lot of time, let me speak from the insurance sector because I've worked in insurance. So I know that the NIA, that's the insurance body, they usually, go around, they usually check and see that the insurance companies are paying their staff up to standard. So that's because they already have the survey, the salary benchmark reports that has been done. So they will use it, they will send it as a circular to all the insurance companies, and you will see your report card by yourself to know that you are the least. And that because of competition and all of that, a lot of companies would not want to stay at the bottom. So for companies like that are being regulated, they don't have a choice. They must do they must do that increase and all of that. So for other companies that are not regulated and they are not structured as well, and the business will make lots of money. Even you as an accountant, you'll be seeing the numbers. You've seen that after all expenses, the net profit is more than enough to cater for us, and there will still be change. But the business owner can tell you that no, we are not doing anything. I'm not going to do anything. And especially when it's a one-man business that there is no board. There's no board that the MDCU reports to and all of that. So decisions are solely made by that person. So if you find yourself in that kind of situation, that is when all of these things happen. They just tell you to make money and they'll tell you that nothing. And when they say nothing, nothing really. So the staff just remains in the company disgruntled and just looking out for the next opportunity so they can leave. So is a structured thing, is a business owner's mindset thing, and when that company is also not regulated as well, so it causes all of this.
Okay, thank you very much. Although I'm not very satisfied, but I guess we have to manage it. We have another question in the group, but I would like to ask Mr. Sam this question. Um, they said we are working as staff not to go broke, right? What can the organization do so that our pay can last us to the next PD?
Okay. Let me remove my. Okay. So I think I don't think I'm actually in the best position to answer that question. I think Edna would be the best position to answer that question. Right. I'm a business owner, right? So I'll be a bit biased in terms of my answer. So yeah, let me kindly pass it on to Edna. Edna, do you want to take this?
All right, thank you very much, Sam. So actually, when it comes to getting broke or financial issue in the workplace, a lot of times the employer might not even be the problem. It might be the employee. What are they spending their money on? How are their expenses like? All those things are very important. But one thing employer can do is that they can help employees. Apart from paying fairly, and ensuring that there is, a fair pay, they can also help with their financials. Actually, most organizations nowadays are, doing some things about wellness, like well-being, employee well-being. And most of the time, they focus on the emotional part of the well-being. I think they need to do the well-being holistically. There's another part which is financial well-being. They should help organizations and they should help employees to help them manage their finances. They can, introduce them to some maybe financial investment, or even bring in experts to talk about, financial management, how to, how to, things to spend money on and things not to, these are very important. They can help employees to do all of this, but these are things that most organizations are not doing. And I feel like it's high time they start doing all of this so that the employees will know that, okay, the organizations also have their best interest at heart. Oh yeah, someone put it on the chat. Financial well-being. It's actually very important. These are things that we cannot actually overlook. They have to start talking and doing something about it. Now, you see, how will I put this now? There are some organizations that help in their payroll. Some organizations have a way they have structured their payroll that they might not even pay the employees the full salary immediately. So there's like a particular aspect like they hold back. So like we have some organizations that pay their employees children's school fees. They pay their children's uh, medical fee, school fees, medical fee, and some basic things or house rents. So some organizations already have this embedded in the total reward system of each employees. So they just pay you the normal salary that comes regularly, but the other part that they are actually held back, they pay you maybe once a year. Maybe if they are paying for your rent now, annually they will give you your rent allowance, maybe they already have a timeline for that. They pay all of that. So organizations can help employees to structure, they can structure the total reward system so that they help pay all of this. They structure it in a way that employees would actually feel like, okay, my organization is paying my rent or stuff like that. But actually, it's part of their total reward system that, so it's better that way for employees to, spend on other things. It's like maybe they are helping them to save their money towards, something more important. And yes, financial well-being is very important. They can bring in experts to train employees on, investing their money in some things that will generate more income, and also, help them with how to manage their finances, like spending and all. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Edina, this one is for you again. Let's assume that you
Okay.
you feel you're underpaid in your place of work.
Sorry?
I said, let's assume that you're underpaid in your place of work. Would you go through the normal route of negotiating your salary or just looking for another job?
If I'm underpaid in my place of work, will I do what?
Will you negotiate your salary? You feel like you're going to negotiate your salary or just look for another job?
Okay, so I think it depends, actually. It depends on, when it comes to pay, there's the financial aspects of pay, and there are other aspects. There's the recognition, there's the reward system, there's the career advancements and development part of it. I mean, am I growing in the organization? Do I feel like I'm in an organization where my ideas are being welcomed? Am I being valued? These are some of the things that we also look out for in an organization. So it's not, most of the time, it's not always about the money, like the financial aspect of it, the pay that I receive in an organization. But now, if I feel like, okay, I'm not being paid well, definitely I would confirm what my other colleagues are receiving. I'll compare it with the industry standards, compare it with what I do in that organization. Because a lot of times we see people working, but what you are doing, is it something important? You get, a lot of times we even have people that are like maybe certified, professionals, they have years of experience, and they are getting little money. So sometimes you also need to ask a very important question. Does my work really matters? Like, the work I do in this organization, does it really add much value? Like, grade yourself as well. Because a lot of times we bring all the degree, but the work we are doing is just like maybe minimal. So in that kind of situation, if I see that, okay, maybe my work, my job, my role might not really allow the organization to pay me better, look for a way to, like, maybe meet with the HR or my boss to get better roles or get more, what's the word now? Challenge, like work challenge to do, to make my work more important, so that even if I'm underpaid, I can easily go and meet the management and ask for a negotiation. And one thing about negotiation is that I feel like if you are requesting for negotiation, it shouldn't just be maybe for you alone. Because if you are asking for negotiation for you and you are in the same role with another person, I mean, what about that other person too? Because if I'm an HR and someone came to me and say, oh, you are not paying me well, but then there are still a lot of people that, that will still, I feel like they'll still come to me to ask if I'm not, and to tell me that I'm not paying them well. So I think I'll have to, do the maths, check everything. Can I afford to pay this person? And if I'm increasing this person's salary, I'm not increasing for one, I'm increasing for all. That is the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, if I'm in an organization and I feel like I'm not being paid well, I mean, I will check everything. I'll do my I'll do my due diligence. Sorry. I don't know why the word is diligence. Due diligence. Exactly. I'll do my due diligence before walking straight to the HR or my boss to request for any pay, to negotiate any pay. Thank you.
Okay. So when you hear somebody on the street, because 40% of people said people less qualified than them and any more than them. When you hear that on the street, what's the vibe? Is it like anger? Just coming from the place of
Sorry,
anger?
I didn't hear that question.
40% of people say someone they know and less qualified than
Okay.
them. Yes, less qualified than them, are any more than them. When you hear that on the streets, what is the vibe? Is it from the place of anger, acceptance, or something else?
Okay. When I asked this on the street, people do not, they don't seem angry, you know. They are not, most of the time they're not even shocked, you know. It's just like me talking about what they've known for a very long time. You know, just like data said, 40% of workers, they know someone. And I think how will I even put this? They are no longer angry because at the end of the day, there's nothing they can do about it. And I will say that the vibe on the street is kind of like a weary understanding, because people have actually figured out that the rules they were given in school actually were not actually the rules that were being played in the workplace. You know that we were told that we should go to school, we should get our degree, we should work hard, and if we work hard, we get paid well. But people are beginning to realize that it's not about working hard, it's about working smart now. At this, and that is what many people are doing exactly now. They are trying to work smart and not work hard now, and they are no longer getting angry. Many people they've changed their strategy. They are now investing more in relationships and connection, the same way they used to invest in education then, because they've realized that experience might not really do anything for you. Education might not do anything for you. It is about the people you know, the connections you've been able to make, and you know, the relationship you built over time. This is actually sad. It's very sad. But a lot of times people just join, you know, what is the winning strategy in the organization. And so a lot of people might be angry, but I feel like the angry has went underground. You know, it's as went on the ground, and what you see on the surface now is people who are trying to process the unfairness differently, and they are just trying to navigate the system. What like they are trying to navigate what is actually happening in the Nigerian work, which is a lot of people just doing office politics to ensure that they get better pay. So yeah, people are not really angry anymore. They are just following what is going on in the system.
Thank you very much, Ms. Edna. Mr. Emmanuel, this question is for you. So we have heard like the complaints of everyone. Everyone is just angry about their salary. Some people are just in acceptance. So how can companies proactively come up with this information conversation with their staff and just be honest about it with them? Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Please, can you just take that question again? I lost
So
you
the
at some
question
point.
is, how many companies are having proactive information conversations with their staff right now, honestly?
Okay. In terms of how many companies, I won't speak generally now, but I know that we in the HR space, let me use myself as an example. So I know that these conversations, once in a while, I always bring it out, to management. It's not as if management are not aware of all of these things. I mean, we're in this country together, they are seeing everything that is happening. So we talk about this at the management level, then from management down. So once in a while, I'm talking for myself now, once in a while, I know that management do talk about it, giving like a reassurance, even though there's nothing that can be done right now at the moment, but there's always this reassurance, which to some people, to some employees, it means a lot to them. Why to some other people, they don't care, they don't want to hear anything about reassurance. Just add something to my money and let me be going, right? And I know of a few colleagues in the HR space too that I know that yes, they also do this thing, they talk about this thing. And just like what Edna mentioned the other time about financial wellness within the company. So I knew in my previous place of work, I did something around that where I got the guys from Sycamore. So they came during one of our TGIF. So I just changed it. Okay, it's not going to be party, party, party. I just had to chip in like 20, 30 minutes where these guys could just come and talk to us about some of the whole financial things and all of that. After that, we went back to party, so that's just one of it. So I know a lot of other organizations, they have different strategies whereby they talk about these things. So I can't really say generally what is happening in other organizations, but I know that to a large extent, some organizations are doing their best, to talk about this inflation matters, and they're also looking out for ways whereby they can help, they can assist. So this is where the hybrid work thing comes to play. Okay, you don't need to come to work every day, come 2 or 3 times, at least the days you need to work from home, you've saved yourself some naira that you would have used for your transportation. I've seen some organizations that, do food subsidy, a lot of, initiatives just to help people manage their funds, very well, because we know that, like me, I'm still of the opinion of there is no amount of money that you are being paid that is enough for you. I still would say that again, even if I'm being paid in dollars, big money, I still need more. I still want more. But regardless, organizations are also a few that I know they are, taking some steps to make sure that this whole inflation thing is not really getting to their employees very well. So that's my take.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Sam, one last question for you. If StreetUp could change one thing about Nigeria employees pay today, what would that be?
Yes, I mean that's pretty much easy. You were actually reading my mind. I actually wanted you to ask me a question of how can people earn more, right? I think it's basically delivering more value, right? We want to train more employees and more HR professionals that would help in driving this paradigm shift as to how employees and employers see value creation to both business and also their customers, right? I always say something, maybe because I've spent most of my time in the startup space, that whenever you're joining an organization, if you don't really see yourself, right, delivering value or driving the market share or the bottom line of that organization, I really don't think it is fair to join in and to think, oh, I just want to earn my share. Someone started that company. Someone, had sleepless nights ensuring that that kind of organization exists so that you can feed your family. Yes, we might say they are not doing us a favor, but to be honest, if you don't exist, I really don't think you would have a job, right? So when it comes to job creation, I think one thing that employees can do is to basically see their role as value creators instead of earners. Do you understand, right? How can I make more money for this organization? Just like Edna and Emmanuel has mentioned, that you can't go and negotiate a salary if you're not a top performer. And I believe everybody can become a top performer. And on the employer side, it's very important that we, look at these kind of people, right? And appreciate them. They don't need to come to you before you tell them that, okay, now we need to increase salary. No. And one other thing that we hold dearly, and his principle we hold dearly at StreetUps, is we don't believe any job is redundant or any job is one job is more important than the other. I used to say this: if we don't have security guards around our areas, believe me, there will be thefts, there will be, so I mean, they look seemingly, unreliable, or should I say, insignificant, but the role they play is quite a lot. right? So I think if employees and employers start seeing it like a symbiotic relationship rather than a parasitic relationship, I think the employee welfare generally, and genuinely would really improve over the next 5 years. Right. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
time with us. We really appreciate from Street Ups. And right now, I know that for me to get paid higher, I just have to add value to what I'm doing to my company. This was really insightful. So thank you very much. I don't know if anybody has any questions to ask, or we can just move on. No questions. That's beautiful. Miss Edna, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate your efforts and all the answers you have given so far. Mr. Emmanuel, really appreciate your professional advice to the whole structure, and we make sure that we actually try to see that in our day-to-day lives. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel, and good night.
Thank you, everyone. Please do well to follow our pages. Hi, Henry. I can see you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Yeah, please do well to follow us on, our pages on Instagram. We're on X at Street Ops. You can follow us and we can have these conversations. We plan to also have, on behalf of myself and my co-founder, Olumide is on the call. Olumide, are you there? Do you want to say something? We plan to have these live sessions more often, so that we can talk more about, the issues that employees and employers are facing. We don't just want it to be like a monologue. We want, to have like a roundtable sessions where we can talk about this because we believe no institution can be better than their environment, right? And the environment has to be conducive for value to be, given, or let me say driven, basically, so that the business can grow and employee performance can also, be achieved. So yeah, we really appreciate you for taking out of your very expensive time to join in. It's over 1 hour now, and we're still talking. So Olumide, I don't know if do you want to say something? Hi, Olumide, are you there? Oh, I guess Illuminati is no longer here. Yeah, so just want to say thank you, Edna. Thank you, Emmanuel, for joining me. Thank you, Dominion. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, everyone. I can't see everybody's name though, but just thank you, Henry, for joining. Yes, thank you, Dambola, for joining. We'll do well to send the invite for subsequent conversations, right, like this. And we really, really hope together we can transform the employer landscape or workforce landscape across Africa. Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Samuel.
All right, bye everyone.
Yeah, bye.